My name is Thessaly Lerner. I'm also known as the 𝗩𝗁𝗐𝗐, and I'm the original voice of Lisa Garland from the 1999 video game. Seriously, this is true. Hundreds of thousands of super fans of Silent Hill all over the world. Thank you. Thanks for your patronage. Thanks for caring about a video game I voiced, over 20 years ago. So I thank you. Thanks for being interested. Good stories are great. Without you, I wouldn't feel popular. I'm Thessaly Lerner, original voice of Lisa Garland in the 1999 video game Silent Hill. And welcome to the history of Lisa Garland throughout the ages.
Still has an unusually high fever. Eyes don't open. Getting a pulse, but just barely breathing. Her skin is all charred. Even when I change the bandages, the blood and pus just start oozing through. Why? What is keeping that child alive? I can't stand it any longer. I won't tell a soul. Promise.
My name's Lisa Garland.
Lisa Garland is a young woman who worked in Silent Hill as a nurse. In her late teenage years, she was a theatre enthusiast with aspirations of becoming an actress. These ambitions were overridden when she was pressured by her family to become a nurse, following the tradition of her mother and grandmother before her.
I just love the theatre, Travis. I want to be an actress. But Mom was a nurse and her mom was a nurse, so I'm going to be a nurse.
She worked as a trainee nurse in Alchemilla Hospital under Dr. Michael Kaufmann, who secretly ran the town's drug trade and had business associations with the Order. The Order is a religious cult in Silent Hill and are responsible for the deaths of many people in the town, particularly authoritative figures or those who may disrupt what the cult seeks to achieve. This meant that the cult gradually gained more influence and power in the town. One of the goals of the Order is to usher in the apocalypse and deliver those faithful to the cult to paradise. The Order believes they will witness the second coming of God and their soul will transcend to an eternity of bliss.
Time when all will be forgiven their sins, when the paradise we have long dreamed for will arrive. After the judgment and atonement, an eternity of bliss.
In an attempt to witness this second coming of God, many parents in the Order sacrificed their own children for this birth. One of these children was Alessa Gillespie, who suffered at the hands of the Order for her entire life. It is said that Alessa was created through magical conjuration by a sect within the Order, led by her own mother Dahlia. And so Alessa has the seed of an embryonic god within her. She is the Order's chance of birthing this new god.
Do what Mommy tells you now. I just want you to lend me a teeny bit of your power, that's all. No.
As rituals took place and she suffered more, Alessa split her soul in half, attempting to delay any birth or further rituals the Order wanted to do. Because of this, there is a soul out there who is the other half of Alessa. And Alessa herself has now been bound to the basement of Alchemilla Hospital as the Order waits for her other half to return. As she suffers, she had to be treated for some of the awful wounds and consequences of the rituals. The person responsible for treating her was Lisa Garland. Lisa was forced to look after Alessa and keep the Order's secret. Kaufmann began administering an illegal narcotic to Lisa and fueling an addiction to blackmail her into keeping Alessa alive and maintaining this secret. As Alessa could never heal from her injuries, she required constant medical attention from Lisa.
Why? What is keeping that child alive?
This constant care for Alessa, encouraged by her addiction provided by Kaufmann, caused great mental and physical stress for Lisa. But this wasn't the only pressure Kaufmann put on her. She, as a young girl, was in no position of power against the intimidating and authoritative doctor.
Lisa,
there were accounts of sexual abuse from Kaufmann at the Riverside Motel, and disturbingly, this may be the reason why Lisa is wearing her non-traditional nurse's outfit, because that's what Kaufmann wants. The thing that kept Lisa under control was the fear of the Order and Dr. Kaufmann, as well as her new addiction to PTV, the drug she was being blackmailed with. PTV contains white Claudia, which caused Lisa to experience frightening hallucinations, such as insects invading her personal space and bodily fluids pouring from a faucet.
I told the doctor I quit. I won't work at that hospital anymore. The room is filled with insects. Even with the doors and windows shut, they get in to spite me. I'm feeling bad. Need to throw up, but nothing comes out. Vomiting only bile. Blood and pus flow from the bathroom faucet. I try to stop it, but it won't turn off. I need drugs. Help me.
Lisa became emotionally unstable, often begging the Order to release her. Lisa Garland had a boyfriend, Matthew, who travelled to the town in a desperate attempt to save her from this responsibility. But he was instead killed as the town began to turn into the otherworld, which is a reflection of Alessa's nightmare, fueled by hatred and torment. Matthew was killed by a Voltiel, who is an otherworldly being with its sole purpose to watch over Alessa as a protective guardian of the god 𝗶𝗳𝗄cie. Harry Mason visits Silent Hill to find his missing daughter Cheryl, and whilst this town is filled with monsters and horrific scenes of terror, Harry is unaware of manifestations nor spirits, the differences between his reality and the otherworld. Harry soon discovers that the town of Silent Hill is plagued by supernatural forces, and he is pulled into a dark and horrific world filled with monsters and other terrifying creatures as he searches for Cheryl. One place Harry searches is Alchemilla Hospital, where he finds Lisa, who is hiding and scared. Lisa doesn't mention anything of the doctor, the Order, or her boyfriend at this stage. In fact, she seems just as puzzled as Harry is, yet she is willing to help him find his daughter by guiding him to his next location. That is until Harry, seemingly every time he meets Lisa, gets a headache and passes out before he wakes up in a completely different place. As Harry delves deeper into the town, he begins to suspect that Lisa may have some connection to the strange occurrences happening in Silent Hill, despite her story not being entirely clear to him. Throughout his journey, he continues to encounter Lisa, but each time she is seen, she is in a different state of decay and distress. There was one particular visit to the hospital where Harry can see her being start to crack. Harry asks Lisa how he can get to the lake and if she could join him, but Lisa finds herself trapped and unable to leave the building, even after she has begged Harry not to abandon her.
No, somehow I feel I'm not supposed to leave this place. Oh, Harry, I'm so scared, and I'm cold.
Lisa can't remember anything of the hospital and is convinced she has never been in the basement. But she knows that there is a dark secret down there. She begins to get frustrated with herself and Harry, and she decides to confront this forgotten secret.
Don't fret about it, you'll remember after a while.
No. You don't understand.
Wait! Where do you think you're going?
Of course, we know that in the basement is the memories of Alessa's suffering. Lisa goes to the basement and recalls her past emotions of guilt and the role that she played as a puppet to the Order. It's here when Lisa realises that she is just like the other monsters roaming the hospital, that her soul is just glass between reality and Alessa's nightmare.
I get it now. Why I'm still alive even though everyone else is dead. I'm not the only one who's still walking around. I'm the same as them. I just hadn't noticed it before.
Lisa.
Harry pushes her away when she begins to panic, and in one final desperate attempt for comfort, she reaches out before falling apart in her own pool of flesh and blood. So, what did Lisa remember causing her to shatter like this? The Lisa that Harry finds is nothing more than a spirit who is bound to the hospital. She becomes aware of her own death, which causes her misinformed presence to fall apart. But how did she die in the first place? Masahiro Ito, the background and creature artist of Silent Hill and art director of Silent Hill 2 and 3, confirmed that Lisa loses her mind by overdose and that she is finally killed by a 𝗁𝗁𝗄𝗄. This is shown in Cage of Cradle, a Japanese exclusive story which Ito confirmed is canon. So that explains how she died, but why is her spirit trapped here? How come not everyone that has ever died in Silent Hill is a spirit as well? Well, the Lost Memories guidebook and a memo entitled The Occult Magazine in Silent Hill 3 both suggest that the souls of those who have died suddenly, by suicide or accident, don't realise that they're dead, and sometimes they stay put and haunt that particular place. Occult Magazine also explains that those particular spirits have lost human senses and memories. This means that Lisa's death was a sudden accident or suicide, referring to the overdose that I mentioned earlier, and the fact that she was then killed by the 𝗁𝗁𝗄𝗄. At the end of Silent Hill's story, Harry receives a new baby from the incubator as the nightmarish otherworld begins to collapse in flames. Here, we briefly see Lisa return, still covered in her own blood, but coming back for Kaufmann, grabbing him and pulling him down, not allowing him to escape. We can ultimately say that because of this scene, in some strange haunting way, Lisa was eventually able to get her revenge. We can also catch another final glimpse of Lisa when exploring the otherworld version of Brookhaven Hospital in Silent Hill 3. Despite this body not looking anything like her, Ito confirmed that he wanted this nurse to look like Lisa, and so it's believed strongly that this particular nurse is just a version of her. Ito says the reason why she looks so different is simply due to a lack of time designing her. Lisa Garland's story is tragic. It's about a young girl who is blackmailed and taken advantage of by the Order and Kaufmann. Lisa is a complex and unfortunate soul who is a crowd favourite of Silent Hill. And who knows what her life would have been like if it weren't for the Order. All we know is, this was her history.